Today we say goodbye to a Boneyard Revivals legend. I've owned this 1983 Chevy S10 for close to 5 years, and today we're going to say goodbye to it. Hey, I'm Robert. Welcome to Boneyard Revivals. So as I said before, this is my 1983 Chevy S10. I've known this truck for probably about the past 15 years, and I've owned it for about the last 4 to 5. If you've been around the channel long enough, you guys definitely know this truck. It's been a good solid truck for us. Sometimes life just gets in the way, and we just got so many projects, and I can't keep them all, so some of them got to go. Unfortunately, this truck is one of those, and it kills me, but at least if I get myself a little remorse here and do one last video on it, I think it's a feel-good kind of video. But it's been sitting here on and off for about a year. I would still fire it up and move it around every once in a while, but it's probably been sitting here for probably the past 3-ish months. We have so many different projects around here, and I have to take the time to sit down and think about what I actually want to prioritize and what I'm actually going to get to and what we're not actually going to get to. And it breaks my heart, but the S10 is just not something that we're ever going to really get to. It needs a lot of work. It needs cab work, it needs box work, it needs frame work. There's an issue with the brakes now. There's a few other little issues. The little 4.3 in it burns a lot of oil. It's just the pile of issues is big enough where that's initially why it came off the road, mostly because of a safety issue with the back frame being the way it was. And yeah, I probably could have kept driving it. You guys know my standards. They're bottom of the barrel low. And I held on to it for probably the past year, hoping that, you know, we'd find the parts and kind of get after it. But unfortunately, we're just not at that point. So we're going to be tearing some stuff out of it that I want to keep. And unfortunately, in this video, sending her on her way. Curious to see, it should have. Oh, fuel pump kicked on. Will it fire up? There she goes. The back tires seem to be a little flat. The good news is, though, is that it's only flat on the bottom. Well, I had to get the jack under it, but she's taking wind now. Somebody tell me to stop being emotional, but I only got the tailgate and the visor off, and I'm feeling pretty bad already. I think it's just tough for me because I've always known this truck. This truck sat in Joe's yard for 10 to 15 years until me and my old man threw the 4.3 in it and the 700 R4, got it back together running and driving for Joe. And that's kind of a funny story too, because when we first put it together for Joe kept joking to me the whole time, like, "Oh, you need to own this truck." And I'm like, "How would I want an S10 when I want one of them?" Oh yeah, rev it up, yeah. Woo, S10s. And you know, time went by and I sold my first car. Long story short, I ended up selling that car to get this truck. And you know, it's funny how life just takes you on these journeys, and some things are kind of like a boomerang and they just come back. That's the story with this truck. This truck's just, and it's been such a good truck. Man, has it been an amazing truck for us. But I just, you know, if I did this YouTube thing full time, I might consider doing something with it. But I mean, look at them all. Look at them all. I'm never, realistically, yeah. Could I get to them all at one point? Yeah, but is it really going to happen with how life throws curveballs at you? No. So unfortunately, some things got to go, and it's killing me, though. It is killing me. All right, we got the S10 in the shop here. She's up on jack stands. One of the last things I want to pull off of it before we send it to the junkyard is the transmission. It is a 700R4 four-wheel drive trans. And I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would you want to pull a 700R4? They're usually junk, like this one in the bed of the truck. Well, this 700R4 was actually built by Joe over at Barn Performance Machine. Once again, this was his truck, and he built the trans for it, and it is arguably the best 700R4 that
I've ever had. And he went through and did the whole 9 to it. Arguably, the 700R4 that's in this truck was probably the greatest part of this truck. The 1 to 2 shift would snap your neck. And yeah, it's just awesome. So I didn't have the heart to let that ride, especially knowing how expensive it would be to build another transmission that's relative to it. Probably spent the last half hour trying to get this exhaust piece off in one piece without cutting her up too bad. And you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you just sawzall it and just get it out of the way? Well, I want to save this because this would be the right stuff to put on the 283 in the black car. As you guys know, if you haven't seen the video, I'll try to leave it linked up over here. We got the car together. The 283 runs in the car, but we don't have a full exhaust system for it. This comes off on the right side. Well, it'd be on the passenger side, which is where the rest of the exhaust is ran on the black car. My hopes and game plan is that I can make this bolt on and work with that exhaust system. I don't know, it might be a little different because obviously it came off 4-wheel drive S10, but I'm hoping we can make that work. The other thing that's kind of cool too, it's got the O2 bung here. Something I've been looking and wanting to get into is, if you guys know who Thunderhead 289 is here on YouTube, Luke Finley. Super good dude. Met him on Power Tour a few years ago. Actually, multiple years we saw him on Power Tour. And if you don't know who he is, he's the guy that put the lawnmower carb on a Ford Maverick. Yeah, that guy. And then he did the tunnel ram thing where he basically built like a 4-foot tall carb spacer and put a carb on top of it, had it sticking up out of the hood. It was really, really neat. But he came out with that carb cheater. Not saying it's going to happen anytime soon, but it's something that I'd love to get my hands on and play with. Part of the carb cheater system working is having an O2 bung into your exhausts. I already got one there, so it would just be put it in. No cutting holes, no welding, no nothing. Not saying it's gonna happen, but if it does, bingo, already done. All right, so looking at the distributor here, you might be wondering why. Because I have to sneak in here to get back to the bell housing bolts that are up top here, because there's no way to get to them down below. GM, I understand that, you know, you guys put together a really good, you know, small 4-wheel drive truck, and these sold really well for you, but why are you making me work this hard just to get to the thing? Okay, I'm getting this last bell housing bolt out now. Thank goodness. It wasn't as horrible as I thought it was gonna be, but it's just, you don't got no room back here. I ended up pulling the distributor out. That made it a million times easier. Oh, okay. Wow. Bam, boys. There she is. Whoa, and ladies. I'm tripping over stuff in here. Here she is on the ground. First thing you're going to notice, it's actually a K case, which is awesome. I couldn't remember if this trans was a K case or not. I'm really upset about that. I wish I was a little smarter about that TV cable. I do have other ones laying around, or I could just order a new one. I am a little upset about that. I should have did a little bit of a better job, but oh well. Notes for next time. But man, that was interesting. The way that this back part of the frame is in there, it was hard because the snout of the transfer case kept getting hung up on it. And I didn't want to pull the transfer case down by its lonesome. I wanted to do it all in one shot and just be done with it, because I might just keep the transfer case too. Not saying I'll ever use it again, but I might sell it, or, you know, figure something out, make a little bit more money back on the deal. But yeah, we're definitely keeping the 700R4. This thing is a beast. So I was really proud of myself at first, but nope, another triple homicide on the floor. I'll have to clean that up. But that transjack, shout out to Jason for letting me borrow that thing. It worked. It did the job. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. In here, there's a bunch of stuff out of the cab that I got to pull out, and there's some stuff in here. Starting off with these super slick small block Chevy valve covers. They're actually see-through on the top. I think I got those given to me. Crossfire. I'm assuming that was the brand. This is stuff like straight out of the like 80s and 90s. Cool little brochure here, if I can get it opened up. Oh, a bunch of different. Oh, look, they even made them for big blocks. Heck yeah, buddy. Nice. Manual before it. I found this like stuffed in this thing. So here's the original owner's manual for this truck. And one of the gentlemen that had it actually kept notes on when he did oil changes and new parts that were put in it and like spark plugs and all that stuff. And then he even has the he has the mileage written on when stuff was done. Wow. And this is really cool because if you look at all the dates, look where it's all dated. It's all dated back when this truck was brand new. Oh, that is so cool. We are definitely keeping this. Oh, no way. So these are an old school set of fuses. If you guys remember when we lived in the other house and we had that little one bay garage when we first started Boney Revivals, the entire garage was ran off of one of these little 15 amp fuses. And we were constantly tripping the breaker. So I'd go to the store and buy a whole box of them to replace them when I blew them. And it's a brand new box. And it's stuff like that. I hope you don't mind this trip down memory lane with me because it's just one of those things that like, and maybe you guys aren't emotional about stuff the way that I am, but when it comes to just remembering how much life has been spent, and I think that's something that's huge when it comes to all this car stuff that we do here on YouTube. I mean, there's so many memories in this truck, and this is a hard one to let go, but at the same time too, you come to a point where it has to happen. But like little stuff like that just kind of reminds you of life and where you've been and where you are now and where you want to be. There's actually a very funny story about this Katana and this truck that involves our buddy Jake. He might be on his way over tonight. So when he gets here, I'll drag him down here and I'll have him tell you guys the story of this Katana and this truck. I was so mad at him that night. I'll let him tell the story though. So there's a funny story with that cheap Katana in this truck. Would you like to tell the story of what happened many moons ago?
I was throwing it.
Yeah.
And there was an empty paint can.
It wasn't empty.
It was not so empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a really good throw.
Oh yeah, he got the can.
And thought I was far enough away.
He was not. The can exploded all over the side of the truck.
Oh my.
That's your commemorative, remember the S10.
Here, I'm going to put it right here.
Oh, that works too.
I think we shouldn't remember the S10.
We shouldn't remember it. That's brutal.
Let's take it out back and just shoot it.
That would be your solution. There she is. I guess we're done here. Official, the S10 has left the premises. Like I said, kind of a sad day, but at the same point too, we got some money out of it, so it'll go into another project. thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it wasn't our typical content, but I think you guys can connect with it and understand with it. So appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time here on Boneyard Revivals, and get out in the garage, start wrenching on your projects. Your dreams will not work unless you do. We'll see you next time here on Boneyard Revivals. Take care.